In part 1, we talked about the Girl So In Love portion of Olivia Rodrigo's third studio album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So In Love. Now it's time to talk about the You Seem Pretty Sad part of the album. Welcome to the Music by Vance podcast, the music podcast for mainstream music lovers. So last episode, we covered everything up to Purple on this album, and so now we're going to talk about everything that happens after The Cure. So The Cure to Cigarette Smoke. We're getting into some heavy stuff. So we're just gonna dive into it. The Cure is the second single for this album. And I said this last episode, but though I personally would have chosen different songs for the singles, they work so well for the premise of the album, where she's got two parts and each one needs a single, needs a song to define those parts. Drop Dead begins the Girl So In Love portion of the album, and then the You Seem Pretty Sad part gets started with The Cure. So this is really where everything becomes clear. The relationship is just gone. It's like she knows she's fighting it for more songs than this, but she knows at this point it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work out. Purple was like the start of the realization, but this is like the realization. I love the strings on this song as well as all of the rest of the songs. The production on this album is phenomenal. Dan Nigro does an incredible job. And I think this music video is also the best of this era. I loved Drop Dead and Stupid Song, but in terms of production value and storyline, this is the best music video to exist for this album. I think Stupid Song might be my favorite just because I love how it feels watching it, but The Cure is hands down the best music video for this era. Anyways, The Cure, super fun song. Obviously, it's hard to talk about the lead singles, and I say this anytime I do an album. It's hard to talk about the lead singles that have been out for a few weeks at the very least, because it feels like it's been talked about to death. So we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna go to Begged, which is, I think, one of the craziest marketing moves anybody has ever done, because she performed this song before it was out, way before it was out, because the second single hadn't been announced, so everybody logically thought, oh, this is going to be the second single for this album. Nope, it wasn't. The Cure was. She performed this, and then a couple days later was like, oh, yeah, my next single's coming out next week, The Cure. And everybody looks at each other like, what? I thought it was going to be Begged. And it wasn't. And then there wasn't a third single until the album got released, and it wasn't Begged either. But I think that is such a great way to market yourself in this industry, is to perform something and then not release it forever and ever. That's what Conan Gray did with The Best. That's what Chaperone did with The Subway, although hers was a little different situation where she wanted it to be perfect in the studio and she just couldn't figure out the feeling for a while. But it marketed her very well. Everybody wanted the Subway. Everybody wanted these songs to come out, and then they didn't for the longest time. I loved the guitar part. I loved that the production on this was lighter as a whole. It really let the vocal line shine and let the backing vocals support it in a very heavy way without it being too overproduced and bogged down. I loved the backing vocals. I thought they were so pretty. I prefer to sing them over the lead vocal half the time when I'm singing along to this song. It's just super fun to do those fun other little harmony parts that just fill out the sound when she's not moving. It keeps the momentum going when she's stagnant with her lead vocal, and it's perfect. It's wonderful. It's great. Then we've got What's Wrong With Me. This drum part is crazy. Before we even get to the even crazier part of the song, this drum part, the way it sounds, it permeates your brain. It's just like, it's more of a feeling inside your brain than an actual sound, especially when you have headphones on, and it's great. But then the actual crazy part of the song is that she's got Robert Smith from The Cure as her very first collaboration as a solo artist. Like, that is an insane pull to have for your very first collaboration. It is her third album, and she is very open with her inspiration, like talking about her inspiration in the rock world, especially punk and all of that kind of stuff. So obviously she's got the connections. She's performed with many rock artists throughout her tour, but this is it's so probably so surreal for her to have such a legend in on her album. Like she can go pull up Spotify, and there's a song right there with her and Robert Smith. That's really cool. This song is where The Cure was her realizing how unhappy she is. This song is really where she's starting to realize, I need to get out of this relationship. Where the whole point is that he is what's wrong with her. Not because he's a bad person, but like the relationship is what's wrong with her and it's not working. It's sucky, but it's very well communicate. Like, it's a sucky feeling, but it's very well communicated through this song. One of the lyrics I really liked was, I'm not feeling like myself and I'm not hiding it well. So like everybody's noticing that she's not herself anymore. She's not so happy as she once was. So sad. So devastating. Less is really where, like, I think she says The Cure is the climax of the album, which I agree with, but I think Less is the climax of the narrative. Because I think this is where all of this pent up, I think I need to get out of this, I think this needs to be over, finally gets resolved, because it is over. And I cannot believe this almost didn't make the album. Thank you, Conan Gray, for listening to this and crying to it, so it could bless our ears as well. I can't believe she's still weighing her options at the beginning of the song. Like, she's still trying to stay and make it work. She's trying to make it fit, like, make a circle, make a square peg fit in a circle hole. You know, like, it's not working. I also love that this one is a lighter production song. I think it lets the lyrics shine, that's the important part of the album. Like, this is what needs to be the focus. It needs to really let the story shine through. It is so sad. This is such a stupidly relatable album. It brings up a lot of memories for me in my earlier dating life, and I'm very happy not to relate at all right now, so I won't complain about that, but it is a stupidly relatable album. I am so sorry for anyone who's going through it already, and listening to this album and going through it more. And I love that it's stupidly relatable because it's a testament to how good of a writer she is. She's going to be one of the biggest names from our generation, and it's very apparent already. It's been apparent since Sour, where she was so young and breaking so many records. She still holds the record for the highest debuting album by a woman ever. And that's insane to me. Okay, cat hair or something again. Story of my life. Yeah, I also love that this song is unresolved at the very end. It adds to the feeling of awfulness. It makes you feel gross. It's the worst feeling in the world when a song doesn't resolve, and people like to use it as a weapon for emotions, which is rude of them, but it works so well to have this song feel unresolved and feel unsettled and feel sad, because it is a sad, unsettled song, and it works very well. And then we've got a very, very different song in Expectations. Holy synth, first of all. I love the synth bass and the synth part that just goes on for the intro and through the rest of the song, but is the focal point of the intro of this song. So fun. You immediately know that this is going to be just like it's a break. Really, let's be honest here. It's a break from the sadness that we've been listening to and feeling through the rest of this second half of the album. Even with some of the first half, it's a break, and it's very confident. It's very secure is the word she uses in the song, where she's like, I'm feeling so secure, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling happy, like, I know what I want, I'm not going to settle for anything less. And I love that we get this in between Less and Cigarette Smoke. I think is a welcome reprieve from the sadness of those two songs. Speaking of Cigarette Smoke, the last song on the album. And she actually just released an iTunes downloadable version where she's got an extra song on there, so I might have to go try and find that somewhere to listen to without, hopefully somebody I know has bought it, you know? But Cigarette Smoke is the last song on the album, aside from this bonus track that just came out today. Spaced out vocals again. It happened again. She's creating that eerie feeling just like she did in Purple, where it's one of her voices is panned to the right, the other is panned to the left, and it's opposite for you guys, but you get the point, where it's in at the very edge of our ears, and it feels weird. It feels gross. It doesn't feel like it's settling right. And the example I used last episode of this was This Love by Taylor Swift. She does the same thing, except she comes to the middle, where everything in Olivia Rodrigo's album, she does not do that. She just keeps it eerie feeling. She doesn't let it resolve production-wise, where it doesn't come back together as this mono track, where it's one voice, you only hear one voice, it's panned to the center, it stays wide. Whew, that was a long explanation. The parallels between this and Honeybee were crazy. I wanted that special edition so bad because I wanted to, I know there are so many parallels. I almost got it. There were 3 people in front of me when the last one was sold, and I was so mad. But the parallels are crazy. She even calls him Honeybee in this song, and they talk about honesty, and they talk about how she's feeling. It's just full body chills during this song. Just gorgeous production. The parallels are eerie, especially when you're listening to this in track order. Like, even if you don't remember where they're from, you remember them being talked about, and it's an eerie feeling to hear them twisted in the way that they are. This song also doesn't feel like it's 6 minutes long. It's nearly 6 minutes long. It's like 5 minutes and 40 seconds. That is a long song, and it doesn't feel nearly that long, which is great because that means she's keeping the interest of our ears, and it's going well in that regard. Fantastic song. This latter half of the album is so sad. Like, there's no other way to describe it. It's the You Seem Pretty Sad part of the album, and it's so sad. It's sad. I don't know how else to describe it. You just feel sad when you're listening to it, and it's meant to be sad. And there you go. Overall, this album is incredible. It is a no-skip album for me. It is on my no-skip list. The Grammys this year are going to be a bloodbath. I'm scared. We're not even halfway through. We're almost halfway through the year. We're close to halfway through the year. And there's albums that have been announced that haven't come out yet. It's going to be crazy because we've got, from this first half of the year, we have The Great Divide. Well, our posters. We've got The Romantic. We've got The Great Divide. We've got You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And we've got, what else has come out this year? I don't think the deluxe version of Wishbone counts. Oh, from last year, The Art of Living by Olivia Dean. We've got This Music May Contain Hope by Ray. The Life of a Showgirl. Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. That's just the first part of this Grammy cycle, like up until this point. And we haven't had Ariana Grande's new album. And that's the only one I know of right now that has been announced, but that is one that is highly anticipated and based on the first single is going to be insane. So this is going to be a crazy year. There's going to be so many snubs because everything has been impeccable. It's been so good this year. And like the normal front runners that you would expect from the Grammys aren't going to be front runners because everything has been so good. Like, I don't think The Life of a Showgirl is going to win very much. And I don't think it should win very much. Everything, there's been so many better albums than The Life of a Showgirl. Same with Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. I don't think that was a very strong album compared to the rest of Harry's discography or compared to the rest of this Grammys pool. It's going to be insane. And I'm very excited. I think I might do my nominees when it gets about time to do, like, for nominees to come out. Or maybe I'll do my own Grammys where I pick who I think should have won. But anyways, that's a whole other episode, obviously. Go watch part 1 if you haven't already. I'm assuming if you're here, you either discovered me in the wild or you came from part 1. So that's great. Go watch part 1 if you haven't, and we'll see you next week.